Hi guys, welcome back to another of our live streaming dedicated to the final episode of Shingeki no Kyojin. As you could see, we reached part 8, so it's a quite a long analysis. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for joining me in this. And today it's time to go ahead after yesterday when I made the two live streamings. Today I will make one, that is this one you see, and it's time to go on with the moment in which we left last time. That means when Armin is starting fighting against Eren, and at the same time, Mikasa starts having headaches. So I wait a few seconds that you join, and then we are ready to start. Okay, as you could notice, these live streamings they are pretty long and they are pretty deep because we keep analyzing scene after scene until we reach the end of this story. You know also that once I will be able to end these analyses, little by little I will publish the videos left that I couldn't upload, and at the same time, little by little, I could come back, going on, doing what I usually do. So stay tuned and keep on watching. Then I will go to Italy at the end of this year, so I will be able to grab the rest of the volumes that I need to complete the manga of Shingeki no Kyojin, and then when I'll be back, I will be sure to start analyzing the manga. So stay tuned and keep on watching for that too, because I think that manga and anime are two completely different things. And anyway, we can analyze both at the same time. So it will be something really deep to dig the manga so much to see what's different, to see how things will change based on the manga that is the main creation made by Isayama Hajime. Sorry, but sometimes I talk in a strange language. No, I'm joking. But anyway, okay, time to start because last time we left in this moment. Sorry, let me refresh the page because usually I keep the page open so I remember where I was. And yes, let's see what was. Exactly. After these sort of sacrifice that Connie and Jan made together with even Gabi and all the other aliens living on the other side of the ocean, I'm losing my voice throughout these weeks because I keep talking quite a lot. So if you hear my voice so low, I mean, that's the reason. But by the way, yes, we saw that these centipede created a sort of army that is. Made by these titans, I mean, these people that were transformed into non intelligent titans. And Reiner, in fact, is saying that the bastard summoned an army. Yes, in fact, we understood that this centipede could, let's say, remake, even if it's not the same, because Zeke was spreading that sort of a gas that was created thanks to his spinal fluid. In the case of the centipede, anyway, it's coming out from its own body. So anyway, this steam, this gas that is transforming these aliens living in Marley side into titans, non-intelligent titans, and now these non-intelligent titans are guided, are controlled by the centipede to go against Reiner, Annie, and all the others, even if all the others are on top of a Falco's wings right now, while Falco's body, while Reiner, Annie, and the Pick are trying their best to contrast this creature, at least to stop it. I was about to say stop her, but okay, to stop it. And Armin and Eren are fighting one against the other one. So there is this great and final match. So let's see how it goes on. In the meantime, Armin was looking at that scene that Reiner is fighting, trying to defeat, trying to contrast this centipede, but Armin is saying, Eren, you like hell so much. And Armin goes back focusing on Eren for a second. Um, of course, we know that Eren wanted to keep going on doing his plan from the beginning. I mean, from the moment he started touching Historia's hand, we understand that he saw multiple things from the future. And even if he didn't touch Historia's hand, we understand that even before Eren had some sort of plans. Once for all, he said that he wanted to get rid of all the Titans. So, from episode 2 of season 1, Eren's plan was pretty clear to all of us. But little by little, we saw a change in Eren. We saw how he changed throughout the times, especially, throughout experience, negative experiences. But absolutely, I have to say that when he's touching Historia's hand, things are completely changed because there is this switch, let's say, of Eren's personality or of Eren's behavior towards his friends that make him change quite a lot. From that moment, we see that Eren starts not staying together with his friends, but he wants to start his own path that he decided that is the right one. Did he have enough proofs? Yes and no. The fact that he could see some things from the future didn't guarantee him the fact that he could see everything from the future. We needed to remember that even his father saw some things from the future that Grisha said that Eren himself wanted to show him, but let's say that these visions, in my opinion, are the same visions, the same thing that is showing Eren in the past, some things from the future too. So, while Grisha believes that that's Eren, in my opinion, um, when we are talking about the Eren of the future that is showing some things, I think that it's just a matter of the power of the Shingeki no Kyojin to coexist through time. So that's not someone specific who's showing Eren. Some things from the future. Let's say that thanks to his power, he can see these things. But the fact that Armin keeps saying that he prefers hell, I can agree with these partially because Eren knows that he will die. So Eren is quite convinced that nothing is changing about his destiny. So the fact that he picked hell, and I open a bracket, even in this case, it's one of the first times that we hear about hell, because in Shingeki no Kyojin, usually religion is not so relevant. We found some moments in which a religion was said out loud, like in the case of Onyankopon when he was talking about God, or let's say when I told you in one of the previous analyses when I was analyzing even the people praying in front of a Tori, um, but usually you don't. talk about heaven or hell in Shingeki no Kyojin. I mean, the characters are not debating or talking about these two dimensions. Let's say that in the final season, this thing was prevailing more than the previous seasons. But yeah, I think that Eren, yes, prefers hell because he's quite conscious of the sins that he committed throughout his existence. And he thinks that he is deserving hell not only because he killed millions of people, but also because he preferred to stay focused on his goal, even if this goal was causing troubles to all of them, not just the friends of Eren, but even to the Earth population. So I think Eren is well aware of the fact that he is sinful, that there's no need for him, or there is no right for him to survive, because there's no way that a person who committed such a huge crime, such a devastating crime, can survive. He doesn't feel he has the right to do so, and he's perfectly aware of the fact that the moment he chose to do something like this, that meant that was meaning his condemnation to hell. Let's say. On the other side, I think that. He doesn't like hell. I mean, I don't think that Eren likes hell. Let's say that he accepted his destiny somehow, and on the other side, I can say that Armin doesn't understand that Eren is pushing him so hard, and he is contrasting him on purpose, because if Eren has the goal, of course, he wants to reach it 100%. But by reaching that goal 100%, as much as for what happened in season 4, part 2, he is. Sorry that I am going to move the. Okay, maybe the screen at this point. Okay. He is pretending to, I don't want to say play a role in these, but let's say that when he's confronting Armin, as much as yes, for what happened in season 4, part 2, you see that Eren is acting, he is playing a role in front of his friends, to let them believe that he is thinking bad about them, that he is sure about those hateful words he said, etc., etc. While we know for sure that Eren was playing a role in that moment. So I think that even in this case, when Eren is confronting Armin, for Eren is quite painful to confront him or to fight him. But if that's the only way in which they, on the other side, Armin and Mikasa, can make this goal or be reached and make this goal come true, Eren, by knowing already his destiny, doesn't care if he has to die, because he already knows that he has to die, and at the same time he didn't even want to survive. So for him to act and to pretend to be evil, or to pretend to like hell, so that Armin is convinced to attack him. For Eren, that's something amazing. I mean, for Eren is the thing that he really wanted to reach. Basically, because he really believed from the beginning that Armin could have saved humanity. So, if Eren can help Armin to reach that sort of role in the story, he feels fine to let him do so. And he is fine also to be aware of what he has done. So, yeah, I think that that's the reason why Eren is not even replying, as you heard, but he lets Armin speak up and say what he really feels and how he is really miserable in that moment to confront his best friend. Let's say that sometimes I thought that Eren, by saying tricky stuff, by pretending to know what the other characters were thinking, or by playing a role just because he had to push them away, he was also trying to see a confirmation of how much they cared about him. And if these could be true, and if these could be possible, let's say, um, I think that Eren in that case is quite insecure. We all know that Eren as a character was pretty insecure throughout the seasons, but somehow in this final season, I started thinking that as much as the previous moments that I will quote it now in a few seconds. Um, yeah, I noticed that sometimes Eren wanted to do some bad things towards his friends, as if he wanted to receive a confirmation from the other side of how much they care about him. I could quote the sunset scene when he's saying, who's going to inherit the White Titan? And he could realize that his friends were ready to uh, gain his powers to help him. Or when he was saying those bad things against Armin and Mikasa in that episode of season 4, part 1, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, even in that moment, I think that he also wanted to say how much Armin and Mikasa um, cared about him. He wanted to see probably their reactions. But even now, I mean, I think that he keeps testing his friends to see how much they care about hi hello about their decisions they made, to see if they are coherent with what they are doing, to see if they don't change their mind. Let's remind the fact that Eren has always said, or has always shown us that he likes people who don't change their mind. I mean, people who go forward with their intentions and they don't give up, or they are not the coward to let a situation aside because they are afraid. So I think that even in this case, Eren is really proud of Armin, because you can see that Armin now more than ever is responding in the right way. He is pretty sure about what he has to do. He is really convinced. And that's why for Eren, this is something good. And even if this means that he has to confront his best friend, Eren is ready to handle these other burden that he has to carry. So if he has to carry a burden like this, and the others can make a choice and be sure of what they are doing without feeling so pain as much as he has felt or he feels, that's enough for him, because he really wants that they are happy and they have a long life. So if he knows that he will die, for him it's even better to know that now they are convinced more than ever. And yeah, it's pretty sad because it's time for them to say goodbye to him, and vice versa. He has to say goodbye to them. But I think that Eren was really happy to see how they changed for something good. In fact, he left them free to act as much as they wanted. He didn't want to control them, even if he could do that. Um, but he wanted to let them be free to choose what they wanted to do and to see if they would have stood up for their beliefs, and they would have kept going on fighting. In the moment he saw something like this, I think that he admired his friends even more. And it doesn't matter if these caused his death, he knew it already. So he was well prepared for this thing happening. But before dying, I think that he was really glad to see that now they can count on the people who they believed they were betrayals, that they rejoined the group they were, that they can make other friendships that they encountered throughout these path. So Eren is pretty satisfied of the result, not only for the fact that he could reach his goal because he exterminated all the Titans thanks to the cooperation of Mikasa. And at the same time, he could reach his goal to have his personal revenge. We don't have to forget that Eren was a revengeful character from the beginning. And if we go back in time, I mean, if we go back to the previous seasons, we don't have to forget. Uh, the mission that Eren has always had before kissing Historia's hand. So I think that Eren was pretty revengeful, and he couldn't stand that this revenge was put aside. So that's why, for this reason, he wanted to move to keep moving forward. Um, so we have multiple ways to analyze Eren as a character. I think, yeah, on one side, he definitely is the representation of human beings and their fragility, absolutely, because of the different reasons why he wants to do what he wants to do. The fact that he felt disappointed, the fact that he was pretty selfish to save his friends instead of the rest of the population, the fact that he was selfish also because he wanted to reach his goal made of revenge instead of listening to different other options or opinions. Um, but he is also showing somehow the good side of human beings. That means to be loyal to his friends, to help them. And if this means to risk his life, he is ready to do so, to mm, stand up for his goals, to be courageous. There are, yes, some characteristics that are not good, but some other characteristics of Eren that are pretty good. So he's showing how human beings are from a different points of view that are not just negative. That's what I think. Um, as much as the fact that in order to protect his ideals, he is ready to go against the world, what the world thinks, and he doesn't want to belong to a world that he knows that it will be corrupted, or it will be bad, it will be mad. So I think that Eren doesn't embody just the negative side of what human beings are. I think that there are some points that we can discuss about that make Eren feel even a good human being. Uh, I'm not saying that creating a genocide is something good, but you need to remember that we are talking about a story that, for the moment, uh, it could seem realistic for sure, but we are talking about a character who is starting a rambling with the colossal titans. So it couldn't be realistic 100%. It can be realistic for the methods used to create this genocide. But of course, this is a fantasy story. So the fact that he turned into a mass murderer, yes, this is problematic for sure. It's not problematic just because his friends are against him, but because of the lack of humanity. Yes, in that case, Eren lacked of humanity. He lost his human side. But if he was completely lost, and he lost humanity 100%, he couldn't care anymore. I mean, he couldn't care about anybody anymore. For the fact that he cares about somebody, it means that this lack of humanity is not 100%. So we can't judge him by saying that he is evil only. Yes, he is evil and he does wrong things. But on the other side, we don't have to forget his a human side too. That is quite well shown here. Just to remind you that human beings are not evil only, they are made of opposites, and you can't be evil only because you know that you need even the other side to live, to exist. Life is made of opposites, so we can't refrain ourselves from thinking that one person is one thing only. If we think so, I think we make a huge mistake. We, as a human beings, are a constant contradiction, a constant opposite of decisions, of how to handle a situation, of the mood that we can have a day. I mean, that can change every day. So we can't be something constant. We can't be something that can't change through time or through days and whatever. So we know that each of us has a good side and bad sides, and I think that Eren is perfectly representing these. Of course, none of all of us is a genocide. I mean, a mass murderer for sure, unfortunately. But I think that this is just exaggerated. In our real life, yes, there are people who create genocides in the world, and we have a realistic point of view because of what we are living right now in history. So this is quite real. But we can't say that all people can turn into a mass murderer, and that's why I'm saying that we are made of good and evil. And this good and evil is coexisting as much as I think Eren is the perfect representation of his descendants. I mean, he is descending from Ymir, but he is descending also from King Fritz. I mean, many people forget the fact that Ymir could procreate thanks to King Fritz. So Maria, Rose, and Sina were born from these two people. And Maria, Rose, and Sina went on creating these descendants. Inside Eren, we have the genes, let's say, of both of them, not just Ymir. Even if they call this population the population of Ymir, because she had even the founding Titan, so the Titan's power. I don't want to forget King Fritz's side, because while Ymir was, yes, a slave of love for King Fritz, but at the same time, we don't need to forget that Ymir lost her tongue, she couldn't talk, and she saw her village destroyed. So she wanted somehow to mm, have a revenge probably too. Even if she couldn't speak, we will never know her real intentions, also because she couldn't speak. If she could have spoken, I think that for us it would have been easier to describe Ymir as a character, and that's why these mysterious aura that is surrounding Ymir is quite fascinating me, because by not having the possibility to hear her talking, we don't know what her real intentions were before going inside that tree. Because we needed to remember that when she went inside that tree, she felt completely betrayed by King Fritz, who she loved already. Because I think that when she saw him kissing a woman, I think from that moment she, I don't want to say felt in love with him, but I should say that she felt something for him, or maybe she felt as if she wanted to be there to kiss him instead of that woman. And we can keep guessing because we don't have a clear explanation about her feelings. Even Zeke said she couldn't reach her. Eren, yes, could reach her, but he couldn't understand her intentions completely. We know that she wanted to reach Mikasa for a certain reason. That means get rid of being dependent on someone you love. But at the same time, I think that maybe Ymir, while she reached the tree, she was feeling betrayed, and Eren felt betrayed in his life. Uh, she felt that she was not uh, quite visible to others. She was a mere slave. She became a slave. So she wanted maybe to be noticed by King Fritz, but King Fritz didn't give her any sort of attention. On the contrary, he was punishing her. Even if he said that she was free, then she was not, because she was attacked behind her back. And that's a double betrayal, let's say. First of all, because the first on the first um, firstly, let's say, she was betrayed because she was not set to her free, and second of all, because she was even hit by these arrows behind her back. So um, I think that Ymir probably could have felt that she also wanted a revenge, even if she has never said that clearly. I'm talking about the moment before reaching the tree. So when she reached the tree, she was already um, feeling lots of negative things inside her heart. So I think that when she touched that creature, she could influence that creature based on her negative thoughts. So I think that these are great signs of a personality that you find even in Eren. Eren, on the contrary, had the ability to speak up, and say what he really wanted to do. And I think that Ymir, when she was hugged by Eren, she was a little girl, if you noticed. She has never been represented as an adult woman as much as we see um, at the end of this episode, when she's confronting Mikasa. She has always been seen as a girl, so when she was hugged by Eren, I think that that was the reason why she granted Eren all that enormous and super negative power. Because when she was young, I think, yeah, the moment in which she was hugged by Eren is the moment in which Ymir is a girl, but it's the same girl that was almost going inside that tree. So she, by having those negative feelings at that moment, could give all her power to Eren, reflecting that moment. So reflecting that negative feelings that she was feeling before going inside that tree. Even going underwater with the tongue cut off, you can't even ask for help, right? Um, so her mental state in that moment was tremendous. And we can, yes, going back with what I was telling you before, Eren has multiple sides of a personality deriving from Ymir. He doesn't want to be a slave. She also didn't want to be a slave. Or she didn't want to be a slave, but then she confused slavery with love because King Fritz was praising her every time she was doing something good with a kid. So, um, let's say that she confused feelings. And I think this confusion was perpetrated throughout the descendants. And when Eren says that he was confused because of all the power that he got, I think that some people misunderstood what Eren wanted to say. Because yes, when we will reach that moment, I will analyze it properly. But I'm just giving you a first input. But um, Eren is confused because also Ymir has always been confused about her existence, especially after she became a slave of King Fritz. I think she confused lots of things. She confused her feelings for King Fritz. She was confused by King Fritz's behavior towards her. She maybe created a story inside her heart that didn't even exist. That means maybe she thought that by being so loyal to King Fritz, one day King Fritz would have loved her. She was confused because she didn't understand that other people were betraying her. I mean, this confusion was transmitted as a side of a personality that she had, based on real facts. I mean, based on real events that happened in her life. But okay, there are so many sides of a personality, so many characteristics or features that Eren took from Ymir. But I think that there are some others that he took from King Fritz. Eren wants to control others based on his decisions. He did it, but even King Fritz did it. Eren wants to destroy humanity. King Fritz was the same, actually. He wanted to destroy villages and to command them, to destroy them entirely, and being entitled to do so. Um, King Fritz was using Ymir. Eren is using Ymir's power, and Eren is using even people to reach his goal. He is killing, he is sending others to death in order to reach his goal. So, as you can see, there are some um, features that derive from King Fritz that we shouldn't forget. And Eren is the perfect assemble of both. Um, yeah, I'm thinking, because you know that I don't prepare anything when I do these live streaming. So I'm constantly thinking about what to say, and I'm thinking about new ideas the more I go on analyzing this story. Um, yeah, okay. Then if I have other ideas, I will tell you. But yeah, what was I saying is that as much as all people have a good sides and bad sides. Yeah, Eren is the same. He can't be evil only. For sure, we don't have to forget that Eren is a human being, because in this final season we had the perception that Eren was becoming such a supernatural figure, that no one could contrast, the embodiment of all evil things. Yes, metaphorically speaking, that could be true, um, but he is a human being. So if we forget about this simple thing, I think that we can't understand Eren, what he says, especially during the Armin and Eren's dialogue. We miss a point. So I think that we don't have to forget this main thing to analyze him, because Eren started being a human being, so he will die as a human being, who committed the wrong things, a human being who thought to save humanity at the beginning, but then he was the one who destroyed it almost entirely. So there is even this huge difference. As much as he is a human being, because he's showing his feelings too. We don't have to forget that. I think that throughout even the final season, he had some moments in which he could show us. We could see um, some sides of his personality that refers to being human. That's what I definitely believe. And nobody can change my mind about this. When the people are saying, oh, Eren wanted to rumble the humanity, so he's a mass murderer, so he is evil. Full stop. No. I mean, this is not correct. This is partially correct. Because if you are a mass murderer, and I told you this yesterday, and you are completely evil, you don't cry. You don't say sorry in front of a kid multiple times. And I'm talking about Ramsey. So people who were criticizing the Eren and Armin's dialogue, final dialogue, they forgot about Ramsey. Because when he was confronting Ramsey, even if he was giving too much importance to that disappointment that made him feel completely human, because when we are disappointed about something, usually we prefer to follow that path and not to change our mind instantly. Think about it. I mean, think about it when you have some real life moments, okay? We don't have to think about that we all transform into mass murderers from tomorrow. No, I'm saying try to relate what you see with your own real life. So when you are disappointed about something, you don't want to change your mind in that moment. It's never happening because you feel disappointed. So how is it possible that you are changing your mind in that moment? No, but Eren, no matter the fact that he feels disappointed, no matter the fact that he keeps going on rambling the world, etc., etc., and he's sure about that because he is presumptuous enough to believe that that is the only solution possible. And once he decides to do one thing, he is stubborn to move forward. He is also saying sorry. Sorry, I know that I am making a mistake, but I am stubborn and I can't change my mind. I will move forward. But that's not a sorry that is said for convenience. I mean, it's not, sorry, but I go on. No. The way in which he was saying sorry It was like as if he was completely trapped inside his own will. He felt caged. He felt a slave of his convictions. So I don't think that Aaron is a mass murderer and that's it. I mean, that he is only that thing. Because if he is pure evil, you're not saying sorry. Absolutely. I mean, can you imagine Lucifer saying sorry to God? If we talk about religion, have you ever imagined Lucifer? Okay, Lucifer was an angel before descending deep down at the bottom, creating hell. But Lucifer, after he feels betrayed by God, and after he felt disappointed by God, he decided, I mean, he, of course, was even disappointed by the choice of God to send him at the bottom of earth, but he has never felt sorry later because he had some human features or characteristics that led him felt sorry. So that's why I'm saying people who think that Eren is like a demon, they are wrong. I mean, the aesthetical vision, I mean, what we see, yes, it could represent a demon. But let's say that it's a soul that is completely consumed by its own cage. And in fact, that the cage is becoming worse and worse the more he goes on. When Zeke was saying to Armin, are you consumed by Ymir too?" Yeah, I think that Eren was consumed by Ymir too, because Ymir, as much as I was telling you before, is embodying inside herself all these negative feelings that by being attached to that centipede, they could influence the entire descendants. What I'm trying to say is that the people who consider Eren as a demon, they are totally wrong. Eren is not a demon. Eren is not an angel. Do you remember what he is saying to Ymir? That's valid for him too. You're not a slave. You're not a goddess. You are a human being. And he is the same. I could say, you're not a demon. You're not an angel. Or you're not God. You are a human being. But that human being, let's say that decided to stand on devilish purposes. But that doesn't erase the fact that he's a human being. That's why I'm saying if Eren was completely evil, he would have not said sorry. Not just to Armin later, but even to Ramsey. He would have never cried, even before, when he was crying because Sasha died. Okay, Sasha was one of her great friends, but if I am evil, I don't cry. I am evil. So it doesn't matter the circumstance. If I know that I want to create a genocide, I don't care who's dying and who's living, sincerely. But in the case of Eren, that's why I'm saying that he's not a mass murderer only, because he has even a side of his personality that it's kind, that it's loving, because he loves not only his friends, but he loves even Mikasa. So when there is love, there should be even hate. When there is a good things, there should be even a bad things. When there is like the yin and yang, okay, we can't avoid one side completely to be one side only. That's why the people who are judging Eren so easily, they should think more. And I know that probably even at the distance between one season and the other one can cause this confusion. But that's why now that we have the possibility to go back in time and to rewatch the story from the beginning and without being stopped, I think that's the right thing to do. So yes, in the future, I want to start the Shingeki no Kyojin with you one more time. I wanted to watch the story from the beginning one more time because I think that some things can be explained now. Some sentences can let you think more. I mean, there are new ways to look at this story, especially now that we keep going on talking about it, and we can have new ideas, we can think differently. Also, because Isayama, and that's why I wanted to praise him. Many people hate him for this, but in my case, I wanted to praise him. He didn't explain everything. He didn't want to give you detailed explanations. And that's why I like it, because we can keep guessing, and no one is completely wrong. From my perspective, you can be wrong if you think that Eren is one thing only. Yes, I think that that's wrong. Um, I don't want to talk for Isayama, but that's what I felt. No, Eren is complex as a character. You can't give him a proper definition by saying that he is one thing only. Hi, Mika Marin. Hello, sorry, I couldn't have the chance to say hi to you. Let me read some of your comments. Yes, I have no verbal capacity. Communication becomes problematic. Absolutely. Um, I'm still confused if the rumbling was your decision through the king's ideology. Um, Actually, yeah, this is quite interesting. I think not so many people remember the fact. I mean, they know for sure because they follow the story. But some people tend to see Eren as a descendant of Ymir only. No, Eren descends from the both of them. So these genes were transmitted to all the descendants. It doesn't matter if some people have more side of Ymir and less side of King Fritz and vice versa, but the descendants is that. So genetically speaking, you can have both. I mean, the characteristics of both. So the rambling can be an influence of Ymir's anger because even Ymir, I think she wanted to end the power of the Titans for sure. That's her main goal, and that's why she's reaching Mikasa because she knows that only love. Okay, but when we will reach that scene, I will analyze it properly. But love can, a real love, can let you free. So, in multiple ways. And Ymir was waiting for love, but she was really angry for 2000 years to have not been able to have enough courage to go out from her cage because she created a cage based on a toxic love. And that's why the anger was so much for 2000 years. that when she could have granted this power, the amount of anger was quite a lot. And that's why there is even this size of the Shubinokkyojin. But the rumbling basically was an idea of King Fritz of 100 years before, because they built these walls based, I mean, while inside these walls there were these colossal titans. Yes, I have some confusion about how they built the walls. I mean, the walls are made by colossal titans, and there are millions of colossal titans over there. I wonder how the King Fritz of 100 years before could create the walls based on so many colossal titans. Isayama has never explained exactly how the king uh, could make all those colossal titans, because usually the colossal titan should be one. I mean, one per generation. We can't find 10 colossal titans at a time, for example, or even 100. So I don't know, maybe as much as there was that genetical mutation derived from it was King Fritz's decision to create that mutation when there was the pest, or there was another king. But anyway, I remember that they were saying that during a pest of some several years before, the king, yes, they don't mention the name, they say the king decided to, thanks to his founding titan, to modify, genetically speaking, the people so they could survive to the pest. So, as much as he could make this sort of a mutation, genetically speaking, could King Fritz create a genetical mutation to create those colossal titans inside of the walls? Because there were pretty, I mean, the amount of colossal titans, it was quite heavy. I think, yes, there were millions of titans surrounding, I mean, inside each wall. So yes, I'm confused about how King Fritz of 100 years before could manage walls built thanks to titans, colossal titans. I don't think Isayama explained something like this in the anime. I don't know if it explains this in the manga. I will see it when I will open the manga together with you. But yeah, that's another thing that confuses me for a second. Mm. But okay, going back to your question, Mika Marin, um, the rumbling. But the rumbling um, is made by those colossal titans that were covered by the walls, and the walls were created by the King Fritz of 100 years before. Can the rumbling be, as you say, a decision that was made by Nir or by the King Fritz that was supposed to love Ymir? Um, Nice question. I mean, I think that, as I was telling you, the anger that Ymir had throughout the years could make her decide to start the rumbling for some reason. For example, to not let Eldians being enslaved anymore as much as she was. That could be correct. But on the other side, I don't dislike even your vision, because the King Fritz, who betrayed Ymir, had anyway the will to conquer, the will to control, the will to exterminate. He could set Ymir's villages on fire in few moments, and let to turn everyone into slaves. So I think that there is even a side of a King Fritz in this decision, absolutely. But let's say that the rumbling starts based on the power of the founding titan that is able to get in touch with the royal bloodline. But the royal bloodline, yes, that's what I wanted to reach. The royal bloodline comes from both of them, comes from a line that was made not only by Ymir, but even by King Fritz. So this could be a good point. Yes, I partially agree. Yes, I also believe that there is an influence from both of them, and not from one of them. Just because Ymir had the Titan's power, that doesn't mean that we have to forget about King Fritz, because he also contributed to create the royal bloodline. And if we miss that point, I think that we are making a mistake. Yes, and then you ask, was Eren the host? Absolutely. I mean, I think Eren was not the he. I've always seen Eren, especially when he's turning into the Shubino Kyojin, as a container. But even if a container of power, but even if he was not transforming into the Shubino Kyojin, I definitely think that all these Titan owners, they were containers of a power. So by being containers of a power, they were always used by others. There is this sort of a concept of being a container of a power. You could see this even in Naruto. When there are the Jinchuriki, these immense creature powers that are used by humans to create wars, to defend themselves, etc., etc. So this concept is repeated over and over again, even in the previous stories. Um, but yeah, I think that um, absolutely, yeah, Eren is already a container of a power before even granting Ymir's power. So the fact that he is a host of a power in order to create the rumbling, yes, this is absolutely true in my opinion. He is a container, but he is also spreading his will to become a container of power, multiple powers, and in fact, he doesn't have the founding Titan power only, but he has also the Shingeki no Kyojin. He has even the Hammer Titan's power, and that's already problematic. I wanted to open a bracket because when we will talk about the confusion later on, um, Eren has these three powers, right? But two of these powers should be already part of the founding Titan's power. So is this confusion deriving from the fact that the founding Titan power that already should have inside of its power all the powers of the other nine Titans, let's say, creating a sort of confusion by the fact that Eren has the founding Titan power, but even the Shingeki no Kyojin power, the Hammer Titan's power. So, um, as for the founding Titan's power, that the power should contain already all the other nine powers in one, right? But he has even these two powers. Um, as singular powers. So is this collaboration of powers automatically creating confusion inside his mind? Because if he had the founding Titan's power only, maybe he would have never felt so confused as much as having the founding Titan power and then even these other two extra power, let's say, because they belong already to the founding Titan's power. Um, I don't know if you understand what I mean. I mean, when Frida was the founding Titan, because she had the founding Titan's power, she didn't feel so confused as Eren feels. I think Eren feels confused even because of the fact that except for the founding Titan's power that is already a heavy and huge power, he also has two extra powers that is one of the Shingeki no Kyojin and the other one of the Hammer Titan's power. So the combination of the combo of these three things could confuse him more than the usual thing. So we have to pay attention on even the small details here because they make a difference, in my opinion. Eren was evil, but yes, exactly, General. Yes, Eren was evil, but really human and sympathetic. Yes, he was sympathetic because he could feel the pain that Ramsey would have felt later. Let's say that Eren, by leaving the future or by seeing visions from the future and coexisting past, present, and future, he is like he is hit of a pain all the time because he has to move from a past, present, and future at the same time, and he lives once again all the deaths of all the people that died, and it's like as if there is a pain that these people feel. It's automatically felt by Eren too, multiple times, because he relives these experiences over and over and over again. So even in the case of Ramsey, he had Ramsey in front of himself, and he was seeing already him dying. The fact that these tears are caused because of his mistake doesn't make him evil to me. I mean, he is evil, but not evil only. That's the feeling that I have about Erin. Then other people can think something different. Who cares, sincerely? I mean, we are all free to think what we want about this story, and no one can be here to judge. What we think. There are just different ways of seeing the same story. But this is amazing because, as you could see from this story is condemning the fact that people should be forced to see one vision only. I think Isayama criticized the brainwash methods so much because when you are asking people to think all the same things, you are already wrong. The beautiful thing of these stories that everyone has a different perspective. So even when we are analyzing this story, we should have different ways of thinking. Some people can understand one thing that others don't understand, and vice versa. And this is so great. This makes this story gives you the possibility to underline some subjects instead of others, feel closer to some characters than others. There is not one definite way to analyze this story. What I'm trying to do is to give you as many options as I can think, but then you are able to develop on the other side some other opinions that might seem different from mine, that might seem similar to mine. But the more we are discussing peacefully, the better it is. I don't like, sincerely, when people try to impose their ideas on this story because they think that they thought about it better. No, I don't think so. I think that if people can find something that other people couldn't, we should appreciate that different version of the story or different vision of the story, because it can enlighten us. It can awake us based on different subjects, different opinions, different ideas, different beliefs. But I don't like when people try to tell me what to think, telling me that there is one and only view of the things. I don't like when the people say, "Oh, if you didn't understand this thing, it means you didn't understand Shingeki no Kyojin. If you didn't get this point, you didn't understand these characters." There are uh, defined characteristics that can't be removed from a definition of a character. There are some characteristics of a character that are quite understandable 100%. So if they are definite, it's obvious that those characteristics are not that you can't discuss them. Okay, but then there are some other characteristics, some other things that are happening in the story that can help you define other characteristics, and different people can see different things. So when some people are too presumptuous to think that they have understood this story entirely, they make the mistake probably that Eren made, to be too presumptuous, to be too convinced about the things. If you are too convinced about the things, surely you're already making a mistake, because human beings should keep doubting about even about what they think, until they keep doubting and reformulate their minds or their ideas. It means that you are mature, you are smart, in my opinion. If you keep being stuck to your ideas, to your convictions, and you are not open minded enough to create other probable ideas about some characters, you are limited and you make a mistake. So, Eren has some characteristics that are undeniable, but there are some others that we can keep question them. We can keep talking about them. And if you have other ideas, please let me know, because I'm really curious to know more. And I'm really curious to see how different people can see Eren. But I hope that when you share your ideas, you are not trying to impose those ideas on others, because everyone is free to think what he or she thinks. So, okay, now after this great digression of 1 hour, oh my, let's move forward. We were going ahead in the moment in which Armin was saying, "You like hell so much, Eren, right?" Okay, and and Armin is angry. Now, finally, let's say you see that Armin is angry, completely angry. And he says, "Fine, we will do as much as you want." I'll see these through the very end. And wow, this battle between these two friends, who actually, who actually want the same thing in a different way, in my opinion. Armin wants humanity be free, and he wants humanity to win. Eren wants the same thing on another perspective. I mean, Armin wants to save humanity from the rumbling and be sure that they keep going on living. Eren wants to save humanity from titans. So, and yes, from Armin's perspective, Eren is not saving humanity for sure because of his ideals, because of his convictions. Yes. But if you see something on another way, in another way, sorry, Eren somehow wants to save humanity. And he wants to save humanity not only from himself, who is a titan, and he agrees that Armin is over there trying to kill him. Absolutely. He doesn't, even if he seems that he wants to go against Armin for this. No, he is just inside Armin to move forward, to go on with that plan he finally started and put into action, that is to kill him. But Eren wants to save humanity because he can't stand he can't stand titans, and one of his first goals was to exterminate all the titans from the world. So even if they have two different views of how to save humanity, this battle between these two friends actually is done for not the same purpose, but the same final goal, that means humanity. Even if it sounds like a paradox, it depends how you see these things. Eren, by exterminating humanity, for sure doesn't want humanity to survive, or at least a part of humanity, because he wants to save paradise. But somehow Eren is pushing Armin to keep moving forward to defeat him, because if he defeats him, he is defeating all the titans too. So the titan power will be over. Of course, to see one against the other one is a pretty sad. It's a pretty miserable, and even when they are punching themselves, I mean, this time Armin doesn't accept all these punches anymore as much as he accepted, passively speaking, in season 4, part 2. Now Armin is completely tired, and he gave up even the idea to talk to Eren for the last time. He thought that that was the one option left before reaching the ultimate goal, that is to kill him. But by seeing that there's no way to talk to him, and of course now Armin doesn't even remember that he has already talked to Eren. But let's say that from this perspective, from this scene, you understand that for Armin, it's the moment of killing him arrived, because in his opinion, there is no other way. Even if unconsciously speaking, he knows that he talked to Eren for the last time, but he doesn't remember because Eren erased his memories. And I wanted to underline this. Eren doesn't want that Armin remembers what they talked together now, because if he remembers now, Armin for sure would have tried to find a way to talk to him again. But Eren doesn't want this. Eren wants that Armin pushes himself and goes forward with his final decision, that is to kill him. If Armin remembers what Eren tells him, probably he would have stopped the fighting. And that's not what Eren wants him to do. Eren wants that Armin finds the proper courage to follow his convictions, and as much as Eren himself is trying to do, without interferences, without influences. So I admire that Eren is not saying anything, and he prefers to see his hand as he maybe have seen in the visions from the future. In the meantime, Reiner and Annie and Peak, they are trying to stop that bacteria that is trying its best to move, to go away from that situation in order to reach Eren to keep going on existing. And while he's trying to resist these bacteria, Reiner is facing Connie Jan, Gabi, and even his mother as titans, as non-intelligent titans. So I think that now Reiner understands now more than ever the moments in which Zeke was transforming all those people into non-intelligent titans. He experienced that moment already when Porco was transformed, but I think that now it affects him more because we are talking about his family and his dear friends. So I think that now Reiner has in front of his eyes the option that if this thing is not over and Eren triumphs, Gabi, Falco, Connie, and his mother, Karina, will always be non intelligent titans. Try to imagine this as much as for what happened to Connie's mother, but try to imagine what it means. So the fact that Reiner now is trying to stop it, is trying to stop these bacteria, but at the same time he is trying even to look at these dear people of him transformed into titans. Emotions versus reason. I mean, what do I have to follow now? I mean, Reiner is such an amazing character that I keep praising him. I would have never expected in previous seasons to praise Reiner so much. But to be honest with you, I appreciated his evolution as a character, as I told you many times. I appreciated the way in which he could realize his mistakes and step on his pride to try to find a way to restart. That it's not something that everyone does. I think what Reiner tried to do by doing so made him a great protagonist of this story. Yeah. Well, look, even this scream that is so desperate of Annie, who is screaming, trying to use all her power to stop this creature. Wow. It reminds me a little bit of that scream that Gabi made when she saw Sofia dying. Do you remember Sofia and Udo in that condition when there was the Liberius attack? That scream of frustration mixed to anxiety, fear, and even these um, how can you call it? Wait a second. Uh, I don't remember the word now. Oh no, wait, I forgot the word to say. Adrenaline. Yes, adrenaline. All these mixed feelings in one that Annie is feeling in this moment made her scream like that. Look, Rainer, I feel you. Because when he's saying, when will our torment end? He is waiting for this to end from season 4, part 1. Do you remember? Rainer is tired. And I wanted to thank Falco because if that day, by touching the wall, he didn't prevent Rainer from dying, the story would have been different, even in this case. Reiner was tired of this power, tired to fight, tired to follow other people's orders, tired of existing. And now, one more time, he's saying when this torment will end. When we tried everything, but we are still here. Let's put in Reiner's position for a second. It's like as if now there's pure darkness surrounding all these characters. I mean, as if there is no light at the end of the tunnel. And there is nothing else they can do. Reiner tried everything, tried to understand Eren, tried to make peaceful relationships again, tries to help his mother and all the others survive, tries this, tries that, tries the other thing. He tried to defeat all the Emmer Titans, previous owners, on top of the skeleton. Oh, I feel Reiner now more than ever, as much as I wanted to praise one more time the setting because it turns like hell over there. Absolutely. I mean, you see that the the scenario is completely is definitely, sorry, representing hell. All the warm tones of colors, the fire, the how can I say, the steam, these steam that comes out, these ashes made by the fire, all of these black tones of colors the more we go up in the sky, because the sky is not blue, is not clear, so it means that it's not over yet. But the desperation of Reiner shouting this question makes you understand how tired he is. It's like as if he finished all the options to use. He is almost done, and he is surrounded by these non-intelligent titans. And if you remember, this happened even in season two, when Eren started touching Dinah Fritz's hand, and he could send through punches, pa, pa, all of these titans that went through. I mean, they went towards Reiner, Bertold, Ymir at that time, and Reiner felt surrounded by those non intelligent titans too, but this time he was surrounded even by his dear people, Gabi, for sure, his mom. So, as you can see, some scenes repeat in this story, especially now that we are almost finishing. But yes, all of these creature that is trying to escape, and this confusion, this moment in which Reiner is over there in the middle, and he feels hopeless. He doesn't know what else to do, and this chaotic vision of all these titans surrounding him, the creature that they don't want it to escape. Annie Peak, who's trying to help. I mean, all these mess that is created in this scene that is pretty intense. Yes. And in the meantime, Mikasa is having a big headache. Levi is saying, Mikasa, we are the only one left here because be um, we can't be transformed into non-intelligent titans. We are the ones who are flying right now, and we are Ackermans. So even the fact that by reaching the end of the story, Ackermans are the solution. Let's say Zeke was killed by Levi, Eren was killed by Mikasa. Both of them are Ackermans. So these special species, that is the Ackerman, these special descendants of Ymir, that could be special enough to erase these descendants. I mean, not the descendants, but to erase the the problems. So the Ackerman, they were special already, and they were special in the moment the king decided to modify them, genetically speaking, to create these sophisticated people fighting, and both of them were so useful to the end of the story. So while people were intimidated sometimes by the Ackerman because they are, I mean, they are not like all the other characters who laugh a lot, who enjoy moments a lot, who try to be positive, etc. Now, usually Levi and Mikasa represented those dark characters that were not well comprehended till the end, right? Because of their features of a personality, because they are not the typical character that are bright characters who want to share their feelings, who are outgoing, who are able to um, think positively. They both had a hard life to live. They both saw their mother dying in front of their eyes in different contexts, of course, but they were growing older in a small amount of time. So both Mikasa and Levi had even sometimes the heaviness of the context to handle. in the case of Levi, when he had to choose between Erwin and Armin, or when he had to defeat all of these non-intelligent titans that were comrades, his past life, and I open a bracket. I'm happy that Isayama will focus one more time on Levi's background story in volume 35, thanks to the art book Fly, because I wanted to see what's missing. I mean, some people said, oh, it was not necessary to talk about Levi one more time. We know his background story, but not really. I mean, yes, we know what Kenny said about his background story, but that was Kenny's perspective. We have never seen Levi's perspective on his background story. So I'm happy that this time Isayama wants to take his side and talk more about his character from his perspective. I'm really curious about this. Yes, what Kenny said about Levi, it was a pretty efficient to understand how Levi grew up, but I think that that was a Kenny's point of view. So we need to see what Isayama wants to narrate about Levi and what context he will put in. But yeah, basically, even Mikasa, she has had a troublesome life, full of traumas, one after the other one. So Ackermans are the ones who usually don't cry, and they stand up to keep going on fighting. They are special because they are pretty strong, and they don't stop until they reach their goals. And I think that it was really nice to see that these, and usually, yes, Kenny said that Ackermans um, stay next to the king, because that's what happened for him too. I mean, Kenny was a good friend of Uri, and at that time, Uri, well, okay, Uri was not the king, but definitely was the one who had the founding titan. And then Kenny got in touch even with the Race family. He understood that the Race family had that secret, that they were the real bloodline. I mean, the real king's descendants, and not the fake King Fritz that we saw in season 3, part 1. So the Ackerman are investigative. I mean, they like to investigate, they like to fight. They are strong. And in fact, even Mikasa keeps saying, I am strong, I am strong. But it was nice to see that one, let's say, defeated one Jaeger brother and the other one defeated the other one. So we have to thank, in general, the Ackermans to have reached this ending. Even if, yes, Zeke made his part saying, oh, Levi, I am here, but the one who killed Zeke and stopped the rambling was Levi. So we have to praise them both. By the way, Mikasa in this moment is together with Levi, and Levi is telling her, look, we are the only ones who can kill Eren. And in that moment, Mikasa is having headaches, and she starts seeing some things, or remembering some things that before were unknown. First of all, she remembers Eren sitting under the tree when he's a little boy. That means episode 1. Then, wait. Then Eren, who is sleeping. Absolutely. And Mikasa is saying, it's too much. I can't take it anymore. I feel you. As much as, yes, As much as a writer is saying the same thing on the other side based on what is happening to him, even Mikasa says, I can't take it anymore. This way of being tired of the situation is frustrating them all. But in the meantime, Mikasa recollects some memories. Levi is trying to talk to her, but she can't hear anything that he's saying, and she's having this vision of the adult Eren with the short hair talking to her or looking at her. And she is also saying, I wanna go back. I want to go back to our home. And here, the memory of Mikasa starts. A memory that is completely different from what she's living. On this side, we have all this noise, all the catastrophe, all this mess happening. And in her memory, she has a blue sky. Everything is so peaceful. Everything is the grass is green, the sky is blue, etc., etc. So, a moment of a disaster versus a moment of peace, a moment of confusion, and a moment um, of a person that is not confused at all, a clear moment, but also a moment in which the scene of season one, episode one, is turned upside down. Is this a memory based on her desire? Absolutely yes, because Eren knows what Mikasa has always wanted. Mikasa has always said throughout this final season, Eren, let's go back home. So he knows Mikasa's intention. He knows what she really wants to do. He knows what's really important to her, and he could recreate all her feelings, all her wishes in this parallel dimension that was created by Eren on purpose to let her understand that it's too good to be true, that that thing she wished for, it's not possible, that I mean, he was interfering in her mind to create this dimension to awake her, to let her understand that one thing is a dream, one thing is a reality, one thing is what you wish for, that it's possible, and one thing is to wish for something that it's not possible. And at the same time, I think that this memory comes right in this moment because Mikasa, for a second, needs to detach herself from the mess that is created, and she needs a little bit of a peace of mind to realize what has to be done, to realize what she has to do. And in that mess, in that confusion, in that amount of disasters, tragedies, and whatever, it's not possible to understand what to do, or at least you can feel too confused. In fact, Levi kept talking to her, but she was out of her mind. And I think that she needed to move to a place in which she could rest, think, talk for the last time to her lover. That's pretty awesome what Eren created in her mind. because Eren was able to recreate the right representation of what Mikasa wanted. Something peaceful, a wooden house, a wooden cabin, good weather, nice weather, the sky clean, the grass green, and his presence as an adult. But the way in which everything is turned upside down instead of season one, episode one, is simply amazing. This tactic that Isayama had to revolutionate that scene is emotional for sure, and is connecting these two amazing characters to the same destiny. If you remember, even Eren was crying when he woke up from that dream. Even Mikasa, when she wakes up from that dream, she is crying. But while Eren woke up in reality, in the real world, and he was having a dream, in her case, this is another dimension created by Eren. She wakes up and she cries. So you understand also from this small thing that one path is possible, the other one is not possible. Both they are crying because of their destiny. She has to go on living without him. He already knows that he will die. Based on these long dreams that they make, they both cry because Mikasa has to kill him and she has to go on living without him. Eren has to be killed by Mikasa and he will not spend the time with her anymore. So, this contraposition of a scene in which the context, I mean, the setting is the same, but Mikasa is already the Mikasa of the future. I mean, the Mikasa that is already grown and she lives in that cabin with Eren. I think that is the same cabin where she lived before, or maybe they built one. But that cabin resembles more or less Mikasa's house when she was young, because everything started from there. And Eren has his hair cut as if season four didn't exist. I mean, as if as if they stopped in front of the ocean, let's say, or even before going to the ocean. The reason why Mikasa is seeing Eren like that is because Mikasa couldn't accept Eren changing in that way. So she always wanted to see Eren as the Eren that she has known throughout the first three seasons. The Eren that stands by her side, the Eren that stands on their side, the Eren that doesn't abandon them, the Eren that keeps staying there next to them, the Eren that keeps wanna fighting together with all of them for the same purpose, and the Eren that doesn't go away. Um, and I think this is so beautiful. Um, I feel Mikasa because Mikasa wanted to treasure that moment, that memory, and she wanted this memory to last forever. Her dream to build a house and live with Eren and have a long life together, or at least, yes, as much as it's said, to live the 4 years left peacefully together, to create memories, to create moments that are worth to be lived. So you are worth living. This is what Armin thinks, not what Eren thinks. Eren has never paid attention, too much attention, on these small details that are worth living. And he unfortunately didn't want to create memories for his last years, to understand that it was worth living. That's Armin. Eren is different. Eren preferred to move forward for his ideals, and if these have caused him death, that was good enough, because he knew that he was loyal to himself, that he didn't betray himself. While Mikasa had a totally different vision of the things. But think about it, if Eren would have gone on living for his last 4 years, the Titan's power would have not been over, and even Armin, after 8 years, would have been dead in this case. So, the selfish dream that Mikasa has can't be possible. Even Eren is selfish for sure, but let's say that Eren is selfish because of his ideals, but at the same time, he is not selfish because he wants the others to survive and he prefers to die for them. So let's say that this memory that Mikasa collected is so amazing, and I think that from now on, that she will go on living, she will always remember that dream. I mean, from now on, she will always understand that that scene of season 4, part 2, when she was hearing Mikasa, I've always hated you, was not the last moment she spent time with Eren. That she had a proper way to say to him goodbye by hugging him, and that she can keep her dream inside her heart, and even if this dream was not possible, it is already real just because she can keep that memory of that dream. So Eren made it in a way that that memory will keep staying inside of her heart, and it's something real. Even if it's another dimension, it's like as if she lived it for real. So Eren could create the perfect place to say goodbye, instead of and I feel emotional because if we talk about these things, it's hard to not cry sincerely, but Eren didn't want that Mikasa saw him for the last time in a setting like this. Eren created for her the best place to say goodbye. And even from these things, you understand that Eren is not evil completely. Um, in Mikasa's mind, that was their house. And before he moved to Liberio, he spent time with them for sure. But if you remember, when Mikasa and all the others came to Liberio to save Eren, the first thing that Mikasa said is Eren kaite kite. I mean, go, come back to our house. Let's go back to our home. Do you remember? Eh, That moment of this dream of Mikasa is happening before he decides to go to Liberio, because Eren in this dream is saying, I followed what you told me, you Mikasa told me, to run away with you and to leave everything as it is. That means to not start the rambling, etc., etc. But that moment in which he is asking Mikasa, do you think I am your family, or you think that you do all these things for me because I saved you, is happening before he goes to Liberio. So all the times that Mikasa says out loud, Eren, come back to our house, or Eren, come back home, unconsciously speaking, it's like as if these are two dimensions when she's saying go back to our home is colliding to this dream that she's living. Then it's even more beautiful to think about it, because um, Mikasa knows that Eren has tried to portray what would have happened if he would have followed her, but by knowing that this is not possible, he can't follow her. So even if Eren tried to modify the story as it is, in this dream, Mikasa is opposing this dream, not Eren. If you see, Eren created the dream. I mean, the dream, let's say, the dimension in which Mikasa is having this dream about a reality. So everything is converted, see? So Eren in season one was living a dream based on the end, where probably he already saw through visions from the future that he was dying. And Mikasa now is having a dream on another dimension that relates to the same moment, to the reality that they are living. That means the end. But Eren is not opposing. I mean, in this other dimension with Mikasa, he is not the one who is saying, Mikasa, kill me. Or Mikasa, this reality is not possible. Come on, let's go. No. The discussion starts from Mikasa, who is saying, I feel that I don't have to stay here. I mean, I feel that this is not the right place where I have to be now. So Mikasa is saying that that dream can't be good. Do you understand what I mean? I mean, Eren, by creating this parallel situation, maybe it was his way of trying a new way to modify the story. But this is not possible. So when he says that every time, many times, he tried to change the course of events, I want to include even this parallel dimension. Because he tried to follow what Mikasa wanted to do, to stay together with her, to spend the 4 years, the last 4 years together without anybody else, etc., etc., etc. But something else was interfering, and the story can't go that way, even because of the fact that Mikasa is saying, I don't feel that this is the place I have to be in. So, as you can see, the story can't go in another way. The story can have different versions, What if here? What if there? If I did this, if I did there? But if the story, as Eren multiple times said, is pre-written and chosen already, you can try so many times to make it different, but the result will be that one. And I think that even if Mikasa wanted to close her eyes in front of the evidence and put her feelings first and put her love first and don't care about what was happening, she could do it till a certain point. But then she had to be coherent and loyal to the moment that she was living in the real life. And she couldn't close her eyes and fake that thing didn't exist. That reality exists, so you can't escape from reality. Even if sometimes we have to take bad choices that can produce some sort of sorrowful feelings, pain, and whatever. If some choices have to be made, we have to face them, we have to accept them, we can't run away. Mikasa wanted to run away, but because she was paying more attention to her love, that was the moment in which Mikasa showed her selfishness in that moment. But Mikasa understands that she can't be selfish in that moment. Something inside herself tells her that that's not the right thing to do. That if you are selfish, then probably you're going to become like Eren. And Eren became something incredibly terrifying, following his feelings completely. I mean, following his principles. Mikasa represents the beautiful world, the world that has to try, has to keep trying defeating the cruel world. And if these dream, these dimensions seemed so beautiful, aesthetically speaking, then it could have caused lots of other troubles. So while aesthetically speaking, this dimension is so beautiful, on the other hand, the cruelty of that beautiful setting that is that dimension was increasing more and more and more. And now we will see it with this dialogue. But I like the contrast between a dream here and the reality, between the colors used on one side and the colors used on the other side. The will of Mikasa to escape to a parallel reality, because in that moment it's what she really wants, because she's saying, I want to go back to our home, a shelter that she needs to reach to take her decision. It's like as if there is the calm before the tempest. And she needs that moment. As much as Armin needed his moment where he was contrasting himself, where he was spitting out everything that he needed to say to his inner self before standing up again. Now it's Mikasa's turn. She needs to make a decision based on her will, and her will is determined by this parallel dimension in which she is making a choice, in which She can't stand this situation anymore, in which she can't put her feelings first and then humanity leaves behind, because she made a choice and now she can't go back to that selfishness. But in order to recognize this, she has to leave that dimension first. She has to feel uncomfortable. She has to feel that it's the right time to say goodbye to this dream and to go back to reality. So, as you can see, before some things are happening, we need some pieces of the puzzle first. And I also like these different probability. I mean, uh, we live a reality. We live this dimension. But as I told you many times, there are people who believe in other dimensions. People who believe that, except for this one, we have other lives, that we live as a parallel worlds, in which we have different versions of us living in different contexts. So, in this dimension, we live this life. As a parallel dimension, we have many others, and in all these parallel dimensions, we live a different life or a different reality based on different choices we made. It's like as if we are creating different stories of ourselves. And it's like as if we think that we are mortal when actually we are not, because living multiple dimensions, multiple stories, no one is dying for real. This reminds me for sure Steins Gate, I told you already, and the fact that this reality has to be accepted as it is. We can't maybe contrast what's already written for us here. Even if some people believe, no, no, we have this free will to choose. And when we choose something is because we want. Some other options can say that we choose that path because it's already written. And even if we think that we are choosing it, actually it's just an illusion that we are making to ourselves. Um, but I like to think this. I mean, Japanese people believe in reincarnation, believe that what we live here is not the one and only option, but later you have other chances to live other lives after. But in this case, it's like as if this dimension that Eren created is a parallel. It's not the next one. But yeah, by saying this, I want to say that that's why Mikasa couldn't stand that dimension so much, because she made a choice, and she made a choice in this reality. So she can't betray that decision now. First of all, because Eren wouldn't like this. And second of all, because thanks to this parallel dimension, Eren helped her understanding that if she chose that option, other problematic things would have happened. So even if you lose Eren, you are helping humanity to survive, and you are helping this humanity to be rebuilt. If you save Eren, humanity can be involved in troubles, especially Paradise, in troubles again. So Mikasa reached the point in which she has to make a choice. And this choice is a suffered choice because there's no turning back. She has to choose. She has to choose now. And of course, when you are put in front of two decisions that are quite opposite and they involve love, you always think that the love path is the right one that you have to follow, no matter the disasters, love triumphs, etc., etc. Who cares about the rest of the world that is collapsing? Love is the most important option. And on the other side, you have Amikasa that says love is important, but it can't be because of me that the world will keep going on suffering in the same exact way. So now Mikasa is in front of a change. Can she change the world with her decision or not? Will she choose to eliminate her love for the sake of everyone, or to praise that love instead of the rest of the world? Mikasa's position is not easy, I have to say. To be honest, if I was in her position, it would have been hard for me to choose what she chose. I have to be honest with you. Um, but Mikasa, by choosing to do that thing, she is he she not he she is sending an important message, that is, love can continue even after. Love is not just something physical. Love can be transmitted even after death. And actually, Eren was saying that he was moving forward till death and even after death. So I don't think that Eren is completely gone. Later, when we will reach some credits scenes, I will tell you my opinions about that. I think that that's make a difference between Ymir and her, because Ymir, when she was hit by the spear, yes, to protect King Fritz, she preferred to protect something evil going on and not something good. While Mikasa is changing the rules, she is promoting the rest of the world instead of what her lover did in an evil way, in a bad way, let's say, bad and mad way. So that's why there is a huge difference between her and Ymir. Mikasa had the strength to stand up and to choose the beautiful world. Ymir, because of her selfishness, chose to perpetrate, to let the cruel world to keep going on living by saving King Fritz and by sacrificing herself thanks to that spear. Of course, it's not easy for her, but she can go on loving Eren even after his death. And we saw that she did. Because love is not just, I mean, love doesn't exist just because you have a person in front of you. Love exists if it's real, even after the death of one of the two, even after a huge separation due to other circumstances. And Mikasa demonstrated all this. When Eren went to Liberio for years, she didn't stop loving him. In that moment, Mikasa had the chance to remake her life, to restart it from the beginning, because 4 years are 4 years, even if she who was thinking about a way to communicate with Marley, but for 40 years she couldn't see Eren. So that's a way to demonstrate that love could go ahead no matter the distance and no matter the hardship to lose him, physically speaking. Mikasa is a Japanese as a nationality. So Mikasa embodies exactly what Japanese people believe as a concept of loyalty or love, even after death. I mean, when you lose a person, a dear person, yes, Japanese people, for example, they don't cry. Or they cry, but then when they go to the funeral, they don't cry. I mean, I have never seen the people crying, especially even after the funeral. They don't cry. They eat and they don't cry. They eat all together. But they don't have the will of crying as much as we people from the West world have, let's say. So I think Mikasa embodies Japanese people, not only because she doesn't cry so much, even if recently in this last season she cried more than the other, mm, more than the other seasons. But even this concept of love that goes beyond death, that even if someone is over physically speaking, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist anymore. He or she keeps going on existing until we remember them, until we care about them, until we treasure these moments we lived together. And I think that this parallel dimension is one of those things. These memories that were erased by Eren, but then they will keep staying in her mind, are the perfect conception of the memory that they treasured, especially when they hugged, and she will, or when they kissed them, but she will treasure those things forever. And even if Eren will not be there anymore with her, that doesn't mean that she can't feel him somehow. And we saw it even at the end of this story. But now I wanted to go on for a second. So the sky is blue, and it's what she has always dreamt. Sincerely, guys. Mikasa wake up and when she opens her eyes, she sees Eren. That's what she has always wanted to experience. And that's why we have to say thank you to Eren because Mikasa had the chance to experience for a second what she has always wanted to live with Eren, a normal life, a normal day, something really peaceful. So I think Mikasa feels grateful to Eren because before going, he could have made her dream come true, even if these would have lasted just a few minutes. But those minutes matter more than an entire period of time or a longer period of time, more than years. These matters a lot to her. And even if she would have never had the chance to live it concretely speaking, in this case, Eren made her dream come true. To hug her, to feel that she can rely on Eren, to feel that for the first time he is the man and she is the woman, because throughout these seasons we saw that she was the strongest, she was protecting him, she was saving him, she came to save him to Liberio, she protected him, she was taking his side all the times. In this dream, I mean, sorry, I call it a dream. In these memories, sorry, everything is turned upside down, even as a personality. Mikasa, who is the most fragile one, Eren, who is comforting her, Eren, who is hugging her, Eren, who is doing the hard jobs. She, for the first time, feels as if she's the woman of the couple and not the man. And she likes it. But it's not real. But something tells her that it's not the right thing that she has to live. Because even if for this dimension, for these memories, she is the opposite of what she has always been in reality, that's not the reality. So it's worth it to live it as an experience. But that's not Mikasa. That's not her. And it's pointless to fake being something you're not. Eren was never reliable. Eren was not the strongest of the two. Eren was not rescuing her, but it was the contrary, except for one time when he transformed into the Kyojin the first time. Yes, he rescued her, but all the other times it was her rescuing him. Okay? That's how things should be. They should be real, not just a portrait of our dreams, not just a portrait of what we wish for, because it's not real. So I like this vision of Mikasa that is quieter, that she waits that Eren is waking her up, that Eren is cutting the logs of trees, that Eren went fishing for her. I mean, I like to see Mikasa in this parallel way, parallel Mikasa, because it's interesting to see how it would have gone if the story would have been different, or if we were in this other dimension. Yes, Eren that takes care of her because he's saying, please be sure that you don't catch a cold. Eren has never said something like this as much as, oh, I went, okay, now I will let you hear, but the attitude of Eren is completely different. That's the idealized Eren, but that's not the Eren that he usually was. So I like that Mikasa. Yes, I like that Eren could create this dimension to show what Mikasa really wanted him to be. That it's something that we can connect even to what Ymir expected King Fritz to be. Because Ymir was there waiting, waiting, waiting. That King Fritz one day would have changed, and one day King Fritz would have loved her, would have praised her, would have taken care of her. So as you can see, we have to understand, even thanks to this dimensional view, why Mikasa is different from Ymir. Because that's the key to understand why Ymir was waiting for her and not for others. I mean, who wants to live the mess they are living now? Nobody. If you ask Reiner, can we go to that peaceful place? Immediately. Let's sign immediately to go to this peaceful place. So, of course, people who wake up and they see this beautiful panorama, and we can choose between this beautiful panorama and the mess, the pure destruction that is happening in the other dimension. I mean, in the real world, of course, nobody wants to go back there, and they all prefer to stay in this peaceful context. This is for sure. And let's say that not only the roles are inverted here, Eren is going fishing for her, Eren is breaking, I mean, is cutting into pieces the logs of wood, Eren who is taking care of him. Eren, Mikasa, be careful, you will catch a cold. Not only this is the thing that is inverted, but even the position. I mean, Eren is standing as much as Mikasa was standing in episode one. Mikasa is sitting down as much as Eren was sitting under the tree. Mikasa is crying while Eren was crying. They exactly have the same haircut of episode one, season one. Mikasa is having the hair like this. Eren has his short hair. I mean, even because of these things, you understand that can't be the reality because not only the roles are inverted, but even these memories are distorted. Mikasa doesn't have that hairstyle anymore. Eren the same. So she's idealizing something that refers not only a peaceful life as a young couple, adult couple, but she wants even to go back to those days that are the moments in which they were young, because when they were young, everything was so innocent that they couldn't even believe that a disaster was happening. Actually, Mikasa in this parallel dimension, it's like as if she wants to go back to the moment before starting everything, before the colossal titan appears. I mean, before all of the disasters were happening. But it's a complete illusion. I mean, this dimension is referring to her dreams, to her wishes, but nothing of this is possible. Not the fact that now she has that haircut, not the fact that she is reaching that home, that dreamy home that she has always dreamed of, that Eren would have changed his personality by becoming the perfect husband or the perfect lover that is doing exactly what she was expecting to do him to do. So all these idealize the dimension that okay, Eren created it for Mikasa because he loves her and he wants even for a few seconds that this dream comes true. Great, that's something lovable, that's something great. But he also created this that the parallel view because he needs Mikasa to understand. He wants Mikasa to understand that that's the wrong thing to do. So for him, for her, sorry, this is a clear confirmation that she has to move forward with her decisions. So I think that even if it's too idealized, it's too good to be true. And in fact, it is too good to be true, for sure. What kind of dream is she talking about? That's the same dream that Eren had in season one, episode one. Um, but it's like as if these dreams are parallel, as much as Eren was dreaming the story in that way in that moment in episode one, and now it's her turn to have this long dream. And actually, it's like as if this long dream started from season one, episode one, and then when she was a young girl. And this dream finishes when she's waking up with the same clothes of season 1, episode 1, but she's adult. So it's like a dream that lasted an entire life. And This means a lot to let you understand how long this dream could have been. It's like when Zeke was saying in the dimension of the past, look, I'm staying here, but it's like as if it lasts years. It's never ending, right? So this is more or less the same, the ability to create something in which time is extended based on people's feelings and based on the place itself where this dream is built. In this dimension of the paths, everything is possible. Time can be reduced, can be extended. There's no time actually, no definite time. The time that is defined is the time that you decide to live in that dimension. I mean, Zeke probably thought that they were years over there trying to understand more about Mimir, but maybe it was just a second, maybe it was just 10 minutes. But it depends how we perceive time, how we feel it, that makes time being reduced or extended. But even if time is reduced or extended, the most important thing is the quality of what we are living that makes a difference. And we go back to Armin's discussion with Zeke. So you can even have just 10 minutes of your life left. But if those 10 minutes are well spent, they can last even like years, and um, they can replace years by not by having done simply nothing. So it depends how we perceive time, how we define time for our lives. I suddenly felt like I shouldn't be here. Perfect. Perfect. That's the moment in which she feels that dimension is wrong, that it's not good, that it is as it is, even if the context is totally perfect, even if she's surrounded by a beautiful setting. That's their house. Eren is lovely. No, something is wrong. There's nothing we can do anymore. I mean, obviously, because that's the same thing that I was telling you over and over again. You can try to modify the story as much as you want, but the story is pre-written in this story, so it can't go well. It can't work. So 2 months passed after Marley's war, and there was anyway an invasion on Paradise Island on the horizon. So even when Eren is seeing these eventual events happening, if the story would have been different, makes him think that the right thing to do was exactly to do what he did. Because here you heard that after 2 months, 2 months, another attack on Paradise would have happened. So these fortifies more. I mean, this makes Eren's decision even stronger than before. I mean, to see, to notice, thanks to this other dimension, that if he would have lived on for other 4 years. Anyway, wars would have happened against the against the paradise. This makes his idea even stronger. That means, oh, it was right to do the rambling, because look what would have happened if I didn't start it, if I didn't start the rambling, if I didn't do what I did. That's for me, Eren, a confirmation that what I'm doing is totally correct. If we hadn't run, they would have killed us all. Armin is desperately trying to find them, but he can't find them. I couldn't bring myself to plunge Historia into hell and commit to an endless cycle of killing. Yes, so in the case Eren decided to run away with Mikasa and Eren would have felt so happy, but they would have felt regretful because they would have left Historia in this wrong situation. Paradise would have been attacked, etc., etc. So this is a way also for Eren to confirm to himself that what he did was the right thing to do, that the right choice that he made. And it's even thanks to Mikasa that Eren reaches this view. I mean, this a way to recognize this, because even Mikasa is saying, "I don't feel that I should be here sincerely." So for Eren, it's not just a way to please Mikasa, but also to please his ideals. To say, "Okay, look, I did something good at the end of the day. It was the right, the one and only thing that I should have done to protect all of them." And I couldn't bring genocide upon all humanity outside the island. Okay. Eren is asking her, let's go and live out my remaining 4 years in peace and quiet. Just the two of us, somewhere with no other people. You are the one who said all that, Mikasa, because we go back to the moment in which he was asking her, do you think I am your family? Or she answered, let's run away. Let's live together these 4 years, just the two of us, nothing, now nobody else involved. And let's not start the genocide. Paradise will be attacked, etc. But now she says, after Eren did everything she was asking in this dimension to do, anyway, she feels that she's not in the right place. She feels that something is wrong. It was your idea, Eren said. It was your idea to create this dimension, let's say. But now you say that you don't want to be here. So did I do all these for nothing? And Mikasa is saying, I'm sorry. We promised that we would have not talked about these things anymore. And because, of course, if we talked about that things, you understand that she wants Eren to stay. But actually, she got it. I mean, she understood in that moment that that was not the right thing to do. So now it's the moment to say to him goodbye. But before saying goodbye to him, he says, can we make another promise? and they are hugging each other. That's really beautiful because Mikasa has the proper way to say goodbye. I mean, they are hugging, and this is something amazing, in my opinion, because before dying, he had the chance to do something that he has never done before. And both Mikasa is enjoying, treasuring that moment that will never happen again. So I like these fragments of life before dying because they actually represent the truth. They represent what that person is for real. And the fact that the person who's experiencing death in few minutes after makes that person even more human. Even in this case, Eren is showing his humanity because he's hugging her and he wants her to forget about him and to keep going on living and being happy. This is the best wishes that you can wish for a person you love, even if this means that you will not be there together with her. But you understand how much Eren loved her to a point that he was even able to step on his principles for a second and create this dimension for her to let her be able to hug him, let her be able to spend a little bit of time peacefully with him without one running away from the other one, and to live these special moments that will never fade away, but they will not come back again. So this is precious. Eren wants that she is throwing the scarf away. Is he doing it to see if he sorry, is he doing it? Is he asking her this about the scarf because he wants to see later if she will actually do it, to see how much she cares about him still? I mean, is it a way to test her as much as he was testing her when he was saying, I really hate you since the beginning, when it was not true? Does Eren really want her to throw away the scarf, or it's just a way to see how she will react? Asking her these kind of things. To me, it's the second one because he wants to see if she will keep the scarf, and he is also even so happy to see that she will not throw it away. Sincerely, that's Eren's selfishness that comes back to life again. To life again, to be honest. But on the other hand, I can say that Eren wants that scarf away because that scarf caused her lots of pain throughout this story. Because he had to move forward and he couldn't stay next to her, and she felt lots of pain waiting for him always and always and always. I mean, this scarf and this way of waiting for him all this time reminds me of Ulysses with Penelope in the Ulysses from Homerus, because even Penelope was there waiting for Ulysses over and over and over again by not marrying anyone, keep being loyal, etc., etc., etc. Not once Penelope was afraid of losing this love for Ulysses. Not even once Penelope decided to stop waiting for him. And that's what Mikasa is right now, sincerely. She really represents the woman who keeps being loyal and true to her feelings, but even the woman who doesn't want to betray her lover. And in fact, Eren doesn't feel betrayed by her, even if she will kill him. He doesn't feel afraid of dying because Mikasa will do it. So you're going to live a long life after this. That is more or less how much he anticipated all the lives of all the others. So we know already that Mikasa will live a long life. He saw it from the future. But his eyes are not happy at all. I mean, while he's hugging her and he's saying, throw away the scarf, you will live a long life, you see Eren's eyes that are sad. Mm, because he knows that he can't be part of all these. He can't be part of her future life. And it's like as if what's happening, it's going against his real will. That means to stay, to live with her. But those convictions, even in this case, are more important than what's happening in front of his eyes. It's like a Ramsey, the same thing. Even if I know that I let you feel lots of pain, I'm so sorry. My principles are more important than all these. The cage of convictions that was built that let me not be free anymore to do what I really want to do makes me do these things, and I can't betray those convictions because they are too stuck, too much stuck in my mind that they prevail on everything. But his eyes are speaking for himself. He's not happy at all while he's talking to Mikasa right now. Forget all about me. Believe it. Forget and be free. Because in his opinion, I mean, in Eren's opinion, Mikasa is completely slave of this love. I mean, she's not free at all. She is in a cage that is made by this love that she has towards him. No, I mean, she can love and can be freed from that cage by choosing to kill you. So she can love and she can also do the right thing now. That's the difference between her and Ymir. She can keep loving this person and care, mentally speaking, about him, but she knows that he did something wrong, so he has to die. He has to be over. Mikasa is totally different from Ymir. And that's why later she will answer all these things that Eren said. They will have an answer, a powerful answer. Because even in this case, Eren doesn't want Mikasa to choose what to do. Eren is saying, forget about me, throw the scarf, do this, do that, etc., etc. Mikasa will have a powerful answer that will make a difference, that will start his way, that will start her way to choose what to do. No one else can say what to do about the scarf, about her feelings. Only she can make that choice. Please, Mikasa, forget about me. This is okay. This is a way to ask her some things to do, but so far she was following others. She was following what others were saying. She was always a subordinate, let's say. She was always a passive. She was not standing and choose what she wants to do with her feelings, what she wants to do with that scarf, what she wants to do even after Eren's death. She has to choose, not Eren, not others. And Mikasa, throw away the scarf. And Mikasa, don't you put the scarf on. And Mikasa here, and Mikasa there. No, regarding feelings, she wants to choose what to do. And in fact, we see that these memories are collected by Mikasa exactly in the moment in which Eren is fighting against Armin. And of course, Mikasa can't stand this thing because of her principles, for sure. So you see, everyone in this story has his or her principles to follow. Okay, Eren has one, others. Mikasa and Armin have others. But this battle goes on, and I reach the thumbnail, fortunately, even today, because while they are fighting, there is something that Mikasa didn't want. And if you remember, even in season 4, part 2, when there was that, let's say, dialogue between all three, and Armin was punched by Eren, Armin punched Eren, and they started fighting. Mikasa was there saying, please stop, because she didn't want to see them fighting. This reminds me, even in that case, a little bit of Naruto, when Sakura didn't want to see Naruto and Sasuke fighting on top of that building, on top of the hospital's roof, if you remember. But even in this case, you see that she is looking at something that she can't stand, that she can't stand it. So, as she is saying, Mo Tairarenai, that means I can't take it anymore. And in fact, Mikasa standing, I mean, after this moment of confusion, after this moment of sadness, after she wanted to escape from that reality, after she felt she reached the bottom, she is standing, and in front of her there is a pure destruction, fire everywhere. And in fact, I love this setting that it's in which you see that she's in front of these lapillis of fire, and no matter how hard and terrible it is, she is standing fearly in front of all this disaster. She is having her scarf on her hand, and in the meantime, all these fragments of moments of fighting Reiner that is desperately attacked by these titans. John that is John's non-intelligent titan, or Gabi, no, that's Gabi, that is attacking Peak. And then we have Annie struggling, etc., etc. Mikasa says, "I am sorry." As much as Eren is saying sorry because he can't betray his feelings, his principles, his ideals, etc., etc. Now is Mikasa that is saying, I am sorry, but I can't. Oh, that's memorable because it's exactly the same thing that Eren is doing with the rumbling. To Ramsey, he was saying, I am sorry, I am sorry. But anyway, the rumbling will start because I was disappointed. So if Eren is following his principles on one way, Mikasa says, I'm sorry, I can't. That means I understand what you say, etc., etc., etc. I feel sorry because I know that this is what you want. but I can't follow it because this goes against what I am thinking, what I am feeling. And in this moment, Mikasa makes a difference from the Ymir's story. Mikasa knows that the right thing to do is to uh, think about herself rather than think about others first. While Ymir was thinking about King Fritz's will first and accept everything, Mikasa is standing up and says, "No, I can't." She's rebelling. Okay? And this is already a huge difference. And then another huge difference is that she is choosing what to do. Ymir was a passive, was not choosing anything. She passively was looking at King Fritz ever having other women, and she was serving him, and she was always saying yes, 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 not saying doing with her face yes because she couldn't talk. Mikasa says it with her words. Ymir can't even talk. Mikasa can talk. And she's definitely saying out loud, I can't. So the way in which she's choosing something that detaches herself from the path of love, okay, makes a difference. Love can't be a cage. Love can't be an imposition. It's not love. Love is to be free to choose with your mind and heart what you want to do. And Mikasa will treasure the scarf, even if you tell me that I don't have to do it and that I have to promise. I can't make that promise. Mikasa is saying that she will not forget about him. So it's her own choice. And she, if she wants to forget about him, she will choose to do it, not Eren. If she wants to throw away that scarf, she will do it in the case, not Eren telling her what to do. So it's a way in which even a slave, it's no more a slave. And she has never been a slave of Eren. But she now more than ever had the chance to show that that's her thought and no one else can tell her what to do. This is a confirmation for her once again that she has never been a slave of Eren's love, but she was always loving him because everything started from her heart. But I really like the way in which she goes against Eren and what she and what sorry and what he wants her to do. She has to choose and be free to choose. And that the sorry I can't and in the scarf on purpose that is put around her neck, ready to do the hardest thing that she has ever done. But now that she regained the courage, now that she understood that that was just a parallel world and it was not good for her to live a life like that, that that was not Mikasa, that was not her, and she has the courage to stand up and make her choices. I simply love it. I like Mikasa now. I've always liked her, but especially now that she is getting rid of these dependence or way to be always there to wait and serve, let's say, to depend on Eren. This thing is over. This way in which she's changing. But let me say, she has never been so dependent on Eren. Let's say that she was too blind to excuse Eren all the times. Even when he was saying wrong things, or even when he was doing something wrong, because she has never wanted to betray that thought that she had in her mind that Eren actually was doing this to pretend to act a role. Okay, and with this dimension, she could understand that that role was just a role. That it's not true that he has always hated her, and he was hugging her. And we, as omniscient viewers, we saw even his eyes, and his eyes were terribly sorry, but also terribly sad to leave her over there without him. So, um, Mikasa, I love you so much. I love this character. I simply love her, and the way she's opening her eyes as if she understood what to do, while before she had her eyes closed, let's say, as if she didn't want, she wanted to escape from that reality. Now she opens her eyes and she's ready. So this moment of the rebirth of this phoenix that has to do what she decided to do finally. She needed this courage, the moment to reach the courage again. And yes, wow, 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 wow. The eyes of Mikasa. Once again, I want to watch this. Yes. Ah, the eyes of Mikasa when she opens them. Wow. How strong is this woman? Now she can definitely say it. Now it makes sense. She is strong, but not physically speaking. She is strong mentally speaking. She reached a state of mind that no one else can defeat her. Not physically speaking, I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the thoughts, what she is treasuring, and I'm happy. But actually, Eren could erase even the memories of an Ackerman for a second. Not erase them completely, but to let these memories being skipped. That was I mean, usually we know that Ackerman can't have their memories erased, but maybe yes, postponed or modified. Yes, he could, but wow, wow. And yes, okay, I wanted to stop these live streaming in this moment because I reached the thumbnail, but from tomorrow we are reaching Eren's death. So there are other things to say, other things to analyze about that specific scene. So there are so many other things to say, of course. So thank you so much for the support, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the comments I received today too, and see you tomorrow with the part 9 of these immense analyses. Thank you for being here with me, and stay tuned and keep on watching. Keep subscribing. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Bye. See you.